Welcome to Founders Espresso podcast. Start your day with inspiring stories and actionable tips from founders to fuel your entrepreneurial journey. Sip up and scale up together. Okay, Petko, is it right, the pronunciation? Petko?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, so Petko, please, can you provide me a one-sentence description of your startup and share your long-term vision for its future?
Yeah, sounds good. We're
Bless you.
wait a second. It's a bit early here.
Yeah.
So CHEFIN is a private chef booking platform. We're the world's largest private chef booking platform at the moment. We've got over 860 private chefs across the US, Brazil, Hong Kong, and Australia. And we enable consumers, in particular high net worth individuals and corporates, to book a private chef that would go to their home, their office, and provide amazing hospitality for their guests. Basically creating dining experiences, whipping up meals, cooking classes, and all sorts of dining and food related things. Sometimes teaching them how to cook, providing recipes, designing menus, etc. It's all really about creating amazing hospitality for their guests and for their clients. Basically, we are currently on a path of global domination, so we're expanding rapidly across multiple countries. We have a team in Italy, actually, in
Nice.
Sardinia, in Poland, and we also have team in Philippines and Australia and Brazil.
Amazing.
We've got a few people around, and we are growing quite a bit. I've been in the market research space for 15 years prior starting CHEFIN. I spent a lot of time digging into consumers' minds to understand what they like and what they dislike. So we're really focused on data points and understanding what people like, what people want, how they feel about the service, and just optimizing the actual service. We are constantly grinding and improving on our performance, basically, which I think is really, really important, and it's a really big benefit for us compared to our competitors.
Absolutely. I see. Thank you very much, Petko. I'm very curious to know, how did you start the startup, and what was your initial budget? So the first steps in this journey.
The first steps are, I think, very different for everyone, because I mean, startups never really become startups in the same way or become companies. For us, was really actually, I was with an Italian friend of mine, Dario, and we were cooking and doing house parties at home. So we were cooking up and like hosting like to 100 people in our place in Bondi Beach, doing like big house parties. And we sort of realized that you spend a lot of time cooking when you're actually hosting a party, when you're hosting
Absolutely.
people around, and you don't have really enough time to actually spend with people. So we started thinking of how can we actually fix that, and what are the options out there to actually solve the problem, so we can enjoy ourselves, have some amazing food, and at the same time spend time with our friends rather than spend time cooking and cleaning after. And then after maybe around 6 months or so, we came up with a couple of ideas. We pivoted a few times, and then we ended up on this marketplace model where we connect people that want to host parties with people that want to cook for others, basically, in
Nice.
a sort of a marketplace model. We did test a few different ideas. We started, I think, not I think, but definitely we first started as an Airbnb model, where we actually listed people's services, and then others can actually go and choose which one they want to book. And now we've sort of migrated into an Uber style model, where people clarify what kind of experience and service they want, they book, and then the suppliers get assigned based on the brief, basically, and deliver that service.
I see. Amazing. So very interesting. And how did you met your co-founder Dario? Yes. How did you met him, and what made you decide he was the right partner for this journey?
Oh man, the co-founder journey is a very tricky one. So we actually, Dario was stayed with me. I had a spare room in my house in Bondi, so housemates, basically, similar to the Airbnb guys, I guess.
Yes.
um,
Okay.
but Then after around 6 months or so, we had different visions. Um, Basically, we had to split up. We were 4 people actually at that point of time, founding the business. Two of them wanted to start a peer-to-peer marketplace where you cook for me and I cook for you, which wasn't really easy to pull out logistically and also compliance-wise. And then me and my other co-founder Suki wanted to do more high-end premium luxury style marketplace where qualified chefs cook for people. So we split up. Then we spent maybe a couple of other months. That was around June 2015. We spent probably another 6 months of actually looking for co-founders and sort of working out how we're going to pull this together, and looking for clients. And then around December 2015, we actually registered the business, had our first client. Actually, we had our first client on 12th of December 2015. And then on the next day, the client was, "Oh, can we pay?" And we were like, "Oh, yeah, you can pay. Wait a second." Then we went and registered a company and we sent them a bank account a week later, basically, so they can actually pay.
Amazing.
And that's how we started.
Amazing. So very interesting journey. I'm curious, can you describe your customer feedback approach in these phases and this stage, and how it has influenced your product development then?
So we ask customers a very simple, probably like 2 to 4 questions, depending on their answers, like an NPS and customer satisfaction survey. I have a very different point of view to a lot of other people in that space. So I ask both. I ask Net Promoter Score and customer satisfaction, like Net Promoter Score for us as a business, and then customer satisfaction for the supplier itself, basically.
Okay.
So it's like a two-faced, two-sided survey, so we can actually evaluate the experience of purchasing through the platform, and also we can evaluate the actual suppliers delivering the service. So I think these two are very important. And then we have a comments box. So it's very simple, very quick survey. It's scheduled. I found that the ultimate time to schedule it is around 5 days after the service.
Okay.
So it's scheduled after the service. It gives a few days of time for people to sort of mull through the experience. It settles into their head. And we have like over 60%. I think there was 1 month we had 93% completion on the feedback survey, which was like amazing. But most of the time it's around like sort of 60-65%. So we have very high completion. We offer people multiple ways to complete through SMS, email, the form, and they receive like reminders. So it's very, very effective. And we've got like over 1,000 reviews basically for our service. What do we do from usage of this feedback perspective? We actually collect feedback as well from the suppliers. So we collect a 3-way feedback always, from the chef attending, from the staff attending, and from the customer. And then once a week, everyone in the company sits down and reads through all the comments for the last sort of week or a month, whatever. We just read through it and we think of what can we improve, what are customers asking, and what are we doing wrong, or what can we do better, basically. It's really, really interesting. Like sometimes very simple features have come up out of it. Like we've had things like in the beginning when we built the platform and we had like everything set up, we thought it's perfect, and then the chefs are like, "Oh, can I actually have the name of the staff that is going to be attending?" And we're like, "Fuck yeah, that's very easy to do." So it's just did something, and 5 minutes later, like everything's set up. So we're just constantly like updating things very quickly and adding things to the future pipeline.
Super interesting and very agile also as an approach. I really like it. And Petko, connected maybe also to these customer feedback, what growth strategies have proven most effective for your startup, and what made them particularly successful for your business?
We do probably play in a bit of a different field compared to a lot of our startups, because you don't really see many startups in the luxury space. Most startups play into either mass consumer markets or B2B markets. So for us, it's really about referral. So being able to actually get customers to complete satisfaction surveys and then keep in touch with them through like email and SMS marketing and get them to repeat bookings is really, really important. And probably one of the main reasons I would say that a lot of our competitors shut down across the world. Like recently, I spoke with the founder of a startup in France that shut down, their CEO actually, and they had very low completion, or very low, not completion, but return rate, like a loyalty rate.
Okay.
Compared to us, we have very high loyalty rate, which, and we have much higher order value, average order value. So that makes a huge difference when you actually want to scale and when you want to grow to a profitable sort of cash flow position. So I think it was something like $700 for them, and for us is 2,000. So it's almost like 3 times difference in the average order value. And then the return rate was like, I think for them around 10%, and it's like over 45% for us
Amazing.
within a year period. So it's very, very high, and it's almost 100% return rate within a 3-year period for us.
Crazy.
So customers like almost always come back and book again. It's
Very
just a long
interesting.
term. It's a bit of a long term game, but once you've got a sort of like a mass, you scale up. So loyalty is a really big game for us, a really big growth strategy. I mean, obviously, in the beginning, as everyone else, we did things that don't scale. I used to sell in person to all sorts of events, and people, I would attend every single event and sort of push through to get awareness. We did a lot of like funky SEO hacks. Like we'll
Sure.
just meet people on the street and we'll get them to visit our website. You just walk around the street, be in a elevator somewhere, do an elevator pitch, and just get people to visit your website. Because at the end of the funky part about SEO and growth online is that if people don't visit your website, then your website doesn't get served to others. So you gotta like force people to visit it, so then other people can actually see it. And we
Sure.
do sometimes when we launch new concept or new ideas, we do that as well. I'll personally call like 20 or 30 people in the space and ask them to actually jump on our website and have a look at a particular page and go through the navigation there. And it makes a huge difference. It's sort of indexes pages straight away and gets people on. So SEO is a big game for us as well, or like a search, in particular intent and a purchase intent search where people are actually looking for a particular service and like keywords that are related to, I want to book a personal chef, I need someone to cook for me, and stuff like that. So sort of long tail keywords that are very like purchase specific works very well for us. And then in particular, in different markets, we have different strategies. Like, for example, Brazil, we haven't done Italy yet, so I can't really tell you about Italy. But I'd imagine it's going to be very similar in Europe as well. But Brazil is a very heavy WhatsApp market. So we actually advertise on WhatsApp, which I'm not sure if
Interesting.
many startups tested as an idea. But we found like WhatsApp advertising and WhatsApp ads works better for us than any other advertising in the market, basically.
Very
Then in the
interesting.
US, we do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn. LinkedIn works really well in the US, and we get majority of our bookings through SEO and LinkedIn. And in Australia, it's mostly SEO, maybe around 90%, and in Hong Kong and Asia as well.
Interesting. Very interesting. Petko, what are some of the tools of a platform that have been most essential for your startup, and why?
You mean tools to help us optimize, or?
Absolutely. In the operations and yes, in your daily activities also.
I think the most important thing is to keep things simple. When we first started, to be honest, probably the first 800 bookings we did, it was all on Excel sheet. So I really got inspired by the Uber sort of startup story where they actually started with a phone and Excel sheet and just calling people in a call center, looking through an Excel sheet and calling through drivers, basically. So we did something very similar. We ran on an Excel sheet. We had a very heavy human operations team. We had 12 people that would attend every single event at any point of time. I think the craziest thing I've done is within a single day, I attended 13 different events, basically.
Crazy.
I just drove around the city and just went to different places. It was pretty nuts.
Crazy.
And yeah, we ran everything through an operation style call center. We had someone on an Excel sheet, just assigning resources, calling the chefs and moving them between different bookings, basically. It was pretty
Amazing.
nuts, but we ran that for maybe until 2018, actually. So 2016, 17, 18, for 3 years, we ran on an Excel sheet and sticky tape, basically.
Crazy.
Chewing gum and
A
sticky
crazy
tape.
story.
It was super, super simple. We didn't even have a CRM. Everything was just built within an Excel sheet and different tabs. Uh,
Amazing.
we connected it with different formulas to Google Docs and different Excel sheets, and everything just worked really smoothly. Chefs and staff had briefs in like Google Docs. Then menus get created there. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Printed for events, like everything was just managed on Google, basically on the Google G
Nice.
Suite Drive. Then we started upgrading. We migrated to a CRM. We built a platform, and we stick up like a nice database. We tested a few different things, but a tool that's been really, really useful for us in the early days was Airtable. I found
Mhm.
Airtable amazing database management tool. It's super simple, very easy to use, and super cheap. It actually is cheaper than building your own solution. So we
Amazing.
built a custom database and SQL and connected it to the platform in the early days, and that costed us like around $300 a month. And Airtable costs only $50 a month. So we
Perfect.
evaluated both solutions, and it was much easier to use for people. You don't have to write queries. You don't have to have like an interfaces custom built and stuff like that. So we use
Sure.
like very simple interfaces and very simple ways of managing. And then what else? Zapier was a big game changer for us to build things no code to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So super
I see.
important. And then from a growth hacking perspective, we use a lot of tools like, I don't know if you've heard of Also Answered, to actually
Mm-hmm.
understand what the internet is looking for. We use a lot of Reddit. So we do a lot of deep SEO research on Reddit as well, what kind of questions people are
Interesting.
asking and what are they looking for online. And then we use a tool called SEO Surfer. Not sure if you've heard of it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really good for like AI optimization for pages from an SEO perspective. Um, then
Interesting.
we use a lot of data from Pew Research Institute to understand consumer trends and demands, and then a lot of Typeform for actually customer satisfaction and forms and surveys that are very quick, very instant, and very easy to change around.
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you very much, Petko. Very, very interesting. Can you share me a mistake or a failure that taught you a valuable lesson and describe the emotions you experienced during that time, and how did you work through those feelings in those challenging moments?
There's many mistakes. It's like
I see.
it's always hard to choose from a mistakes perspective, because we always. I think the thing that we need to remember as startup founders is that we make a million decisions, and 99.9% of these a million decisions would be wrong. So we're actually looking for outliers. We're looking for the things that actually work. But in order to get the things that work, you gotta try a million other things that don't work. And probably one of the most valuable lessons I learned when I was around 6 years old is to stand up after you fall. So it's really, really important to be able to stand up, shake up yourself, and just keep walking, basically, because you're gonna make endless amounts of mistakes, and that's the
Sure.
whole point. If you don't make mistakes, actually, startups and startup founders that are what's it called, mistake averse or scared of making mistakes, don't go very far, because you gotta be making mistakes. You gotta take decisions very quickly and very swiftly and move forward,
Absolutely.
basically. Biggest mistake, I don't know, to be honest, but I think one of the big mistakes I did in the beginning was probably going with a trend of hiring too many people too quickly and spending too money on like fancy offices and
I see.
like physical things rather than actually building startups. So we burned a lot of cash in a year
Mhm.
in around 2018 when we hired a lot of employees. But the other thing is to remember that I don't regret doing it, and probably we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't do it. So it's a very difficult journey to highlight things that other people shouldn't do. It's more that everyone should do all the mistakes and learn from other people's mistakes, but learn very quickly from mistakes and move on. Basically, you got to be very quick at making decisions and moving to the next step. If something doesn't work, just cut it through and move on. I think something I've been really good at is firing fast. If you hire people that are not right, just fire them straight away. Yeah, doesn't matter how upset they are, just fire and move on and continue building the team and continue building the business.
I see. Very, very interesting. Also, I totally agree. And do you have any daily habit or routine that has positively impacted your productivity and motivation as a founder?
I would probably say exercise is very underrated. It's really important to find a way to sort of bulk in exercise in your daily life. Even walking, like I walk to the office, I walk between different meetings and events. Like I walk as much as possible. So for me, walking is like a really important way to actually refresh my mind and see what's happening in the world as well. And I do even like walking meetings. So whenever I have to meet with team members, we'll walk around, unless it's online, obviously. But sometimes we do like phone meetings as well and just walk outside in the wild. I think it's really important to be out and be able to connect with the real world and breathe some fresh air so you can actually relax and think. And gives you a bit of an opportunity to be more productive and more clear in your head as well of what you need to do and what kind of decisions you need to make. What else? And also, I think maybe something else that founders don't realize is that you gotta get your hands dirty in the early days. I probably personally attended the first 1,000 bookings that went through the platform. So I'll attend every single one and talk to customers. I'll go either, like I used to sort of go scheduled between different bookings. So I'll go either in the beginning or in the middle or the end. And I'll just go through and power through like 5-10 bookings in a day, basically. And I'll just go everywhere I can. I'll meet every single customer I can. I'll go to their home. I'll meet the suppliers and I'll see what's happening and what can be improved. So in the beginning, I think even relying in the first 1,000 bookings, relying to customer experience or customer satisfaction or surveys, it's not fast enough. You got to make decisions on the spot. So I used to attend bookings and see what's happening and then adjust the platform, adjust the software, tell the team back home what they actually need and fix, and then move on to the next, basically. So every single booking, I'll take notes and I'll fix things, basically. It was crazy. We were just constantly changing and constantly updating things.
Amazing. Very, very interesting. Also, I see a super agile approach always in every part of the business. So very, very inspiring. Petko, when you face uncertainty, how do you make crucial decisions, or if you have any specific frameworks or guiding principles that help you navigate these moments?
I think it's very clear and very easy. Just sleep over it. Like if it's a difficult decision, just let your head soak all the information, sleep over it, wake up in the morning and make the first decision that comes up to your head and then move on. You don't have time to question yourself. If it's right or wrong, doesn't really matter. You're going to most likely make 99.9% a wrong decision anyway. So just make the decision and move on.
I see. It's totally, this is something that I've seen a lot of time. The pace of the actions that you take is the key point. So no matter how many times you win or lose, is the pace of the actions that change the final results. So super, super interesting.
Yeah,
so three characteristic. Oh, sorry.
It's the speed of action. Yeah, you got to make at least 100 decisions in a day, and you just got to keep constantly making decisions, no matter how many of them turn out back. It does lead to founder burnout sometimes. Like if you make a lot of wrong decisions at the same time, you can really like lose yourself and lose yourself to a point where you have a mental breakdown and stuff. It does happen. Like I've had a case where I just lost my shit, I think in 2019 or something. And like I just started flipping desks and throwing chairs around. Basically, I thought I lost it. Basically, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think we had like issues with investors, we had issues with bookings. It was just like everything pressuring me from all sides. And I was like so angry. It was just like grabbing chairs and tables and throwing them across the office and like screaming like a nutcase.
I can imagine, especially
It's
when
still
you,
better after. And I
yeah.
was like, really good, and everything just continued. That's it. You just got to find a way to clear out the bad energy.
Absolutely true, very true. Petko, three characteristics a founder should have.
Grit. I think one of the most important ones is grit. And the other one is listening, like listening skills, being able to just shut up and listen and observation of what's happening in the environment, what is happening with customers, just observe things, listen, and note down the key points, basically. And being able to make decisions fast, probably. I would say that's the third one.
Interesting.
But being able to stick through bad decisions, understand and observe and listen to what's happening around them and what's happening in the business and what's happening at the customer during like bookings and purchase points and during usage of the product, and then being able to make really fast decisions very quickly, no matter whether you're going to fail or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. Petko, if you go back to day one, what's the one piece of advice you give yourself that would have saved you significant time or stress?
I would probably say just keep doing what you're doing in the beginning. I think it's really important to actually keep doing what you're doing and focus really on the business. Probably like when you were asking about the biggest mistakes, probably actually the biggest mistake, like in my opinion, the biggest mistake we did in the beginning is we focused too much on building the product. And actually waiting. I think after we got our first customer, then we got really excited and we started building a product, and we spent between December 2015 to pretty much half or more than half, 8 months in 2016 building a product, which I think was a really, really big mistake at the time, because it was a nice and flashy product. But once you launch a product without having a customer base, no one wants to buy it. So we launched our product in like July, August. And then we had no customers, and we were like, what's happening? Why we have no customers? We've got a beautiful platform. We're giving people exactly what they want, but no one is buying. So we had to actually really switch through at that point of time to a sales mode. So probably I'll definitely highly recommend any founder to keep selling. The founder's job is not to build a product, it's to sell, to actually get customers through the business and be able to constantly get new feedback. Building a product and having a platform or a software that you're building is your second or third, even most important thing. Number one is selling. Number two is understanding what the customers want and what they like, what they dislike. And then number three is actually building.
Absolutely. Super, super interesting. Super true. I totally agree. Petko, what is the thing that you're most proud of that is could be correlated to your startup, your life? You choose.
I would probably say my sort of ability to make very fast decisions and just move on with mistakes or stand up after failures, basically. I think it has played a really, really important role in what we've achieved so far, and me being able to actually go through this process and go through all the failures. It's just that I don't take things personally. If we fail, if I make mistakes, I just keep going and just make new decisions and test new things and keep going, keep walking forward, basically.
See, very, very interesting. Last question, Petko, a little bit more deep. If you can share me your deeper why and the driving purpose behind your startup, and explain what keeps you motivated on the toughest days.
I think for me, it's really about love of running business. I think a lot of people have the wrong perception that they have to win when they play the game, and I actually love playing the game. For me, the most important thing and the thing I enjoy the most every day is actually being able to see the bookings pass through, being able to see the customers, and being able to see this feedback and to see the platform being used. It's really, really motivating for me. So I love playing the game. Like I know that a lot of people say you got to be competitive, but I'm not really 100% in agreement with that. I think it's more important to actually enjoy playing the game and enjoy the journey than actually aim to win every time. If you aim to win every time, you're gonna discourage yourself, and you're gonna fail too many times and be too disappointed. So you gotta just really enjoy the journey, enjoy the bookings, enjoy the customers, enjoy the purchase, enjoy seeing the dollars coming through your bank account. I found sales, like as people say, cash fixes everything, right? Cash is king. So sales is very motivating. So being able to see the sales come through, and then the feedback, the positive feedback, just really motivates me to keep going. Basically, so I think it's really, really important to have like a full transparency across the business. Like everyone in our team can see the sales coming through. They can see the dollars ticking through the bank accounts. They can see the customer satisfaction surveys and the customer satisfaction and NPS scores coming through every single day. So this transparency across the board makes a huge difference. So people can see that their work contributes to growing the business, to getting sales, to getting happy customers at the end of the day, and sort of having the whole loop around basically. So I think it's really important from a motivational perspective. I think I love food. Like I've always loved food. Like it does make a huge difference. I think I started cooking when I was 4 years old. So for me, everything is around food. I love high quality food, high quality dining experiences, and I love hospitality, to make other people happy and to sort of provide this amazing experience to others, basically. And that's really what's kept me going throughout the years, even in the toughest of times.
I see. I see. Very, very interesting, Petko. Thank you very much. Really, really a wonderful conversation.
No worries.